Hi everyone, this is Lori Montoya here with Santa Fe Realty Unlimited and also Lori's Insight, my YouTube page, bringing you all insight into real estate and Santa Fe. So today I have Robert Hill from Vandyk Mortgage and we're going to talk about first-time home buyers. Hi there, Robert. How are you doing today?
Doing good, Lori. Glad to have me back.
Good. Thank you for joining us. So today we wanted to talk about first-time home buyers. We got a lot out there with a lot of questions on, getting a loan and what the process is. So if you can kind of help us out with a few questions. One question that's always asked of me is what type of credit score is needed to purchase a home? Can you give us some information on that and what is best?
Yeah, absolutely. So whenever you kind of ask that question, it's a lot of times it comes down to what's your down payment situation. Now, if you're looking at very little to no down payment, we're looking at maybe like a 620 credit score. The reason I say that is our HFA state bond program here for the state of New Mexico, it's called MFA, and their minimum credit score is 620. Other loan programs out there go down as far as 580, 581, and we can kind of dive a little deeper into some of those a bit, but just that's to answer the question directly. 580 to 620 is kind of your ballpark minimums.
Great. So with that being said, so you had said that it's little to no down. What would be the typical down payment for somebody with a credit score with between 580 and 620?
So if you're below 620 and you're not using MFA, you're looking at an FHA loan, which you're going to need at least 3.5% and your closing costs.
Okay.
So there's that, and there's also your other government loans. So there are four main loan types. So there's the FHA we just talked about, and then there's VA and USDA. Those are all three government loans, right? So VA and USDA are both 0% down loans. USDA being, are you going to buy in a rural area, right? So for Santa Fe, that's essentially anywhere outside of the metro area of Santa Fe. A very small section compared to Albuquerque. Albuquerque's area is a bit bigger, kind of encompasses a bit of Rio Rancho. But just know that, kind of have that in the back of your mind. Oh, I could maybe qualify for USDA with a slightly lower credit score, zero money down if I'm buying outside the city limits. VA, I think a lot of people hear about that one. That one's strictly for veterans, right? So if you have served at any point in time, no matter how much time you served, you want to maybe check with a loan officer like me to see what your eligibility might be, because you don't know. You might not, maybe you heard from a friend. I've heard that too. Some of my buddies on base, they just say, oh, well, I don't qualify for a VA for such reason. And I say, well, have you even tried to get your COE? Because you might be surprised. But those are the down payments that you're looking at. It's the government loans for 0%, USDA, right, for civilians, and then 3.5% for an FHA.
Great. So on typical, so the houses in Santa Fe, the average is around $350,000. What would closing costs typically be for that amount? What does somebody have to look to save for in that circumstance?
Yeah, and if I may, I'm going to section out closing costs first. Your ultimate cash to close, because obviously those are two different things. A lot of people forget, and even when I show them an itemization, they look at, oh, that's how much I need for my down payment. Maybe that's like $7,000 or something. I was like, no, you probably need more, closer to 11 because of the closing costs. And in this market right now, especially, buyers are paying a lot more inspections than they were, a year or two ago. So that's something you probably would be expecting. So just to ballpark it, right? So 350. Yeah, so that would be like 12 grand with just down payment. Your final cash to close, I always say 3 to 5 grand on top of that. So ultimately, for a $350,000 home, you're looking at maybe $15,000 to have as a down payment, and that's not even using MFA, as kind of we touched on there for the first-time home buyer loan that we have here in New Mexico.
Great. Any advice you can give to first-time home buyers that are considering about buying a home? I know for me, a lot of them, they call me, they want to look for houses, but yet they're afraid to make that actual jump to talking to somebody to get a loan. Is there anything that you could say to kind of ease their mind? I know they're worried if they call you, they're going to hurt their credit score if you pull it, things like that. When can you say, what advice do you have to kind of ease people's minds with that?
Yeah, my biggest thing of advice is to just do it, right? Just jump in and talk to somebody, because you never know what you can find out, especially with a professional and a licensed loan originator like myself. That license carries a fiduciary obligation. That means that person is legally obligated to do what is to the best interest of you financially. And the reason I say that and not worry so much as the credit pull and all that stuff is because none of that costs you any money up front, right? There's no application fee. There's a credit report fee that you pay at closing. You're not paying for that fee right then and there, right? And that's the thing too, is maybe you are in a situation where you know for sure that your score is not up to snuff. And then there are some ways that I've worked with people around that and avoided the credit pull. It's a lot more legwork on both of us to do a little bit of things, but as far as that goes, it's still doable, right? I can still kind of get a good idea of maybe what you could qualify for. But I won't know not even how to help you improve your credit until I pull a credit report. That's just kind of the one thing, is outside of just talking to somebody like me, is to take the next step then. I mean, even if you think your credit score might be there, just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid off, pull the credit, because at that point, say if you're at a 600, right, and you want to use the $8,000 down payment assistance of MFA, and you need a 620, well, then I have a tool on my end that I can give you very specific action items that help you improve your credit. So that's something too that a lot of people don't realize. And I don't know how many other loan companies do that outside of the ability to do it, much less somebody who will give you the time of day to do it as well. So that's something to just get in there, do it, talk to somebody, and if you're able to, pull the credit.
Absolutely, absolutely. And thank you for saying that, because me as a real estate broker, it's really hard to explain to people that if you're not pre-approved, it's really difficult for me to know what house to show you. And right now with the market being so tight, with homes being sold so quickly, if you're not pre-approved, if you fall in the house that you love, whether you can actually get approved for it or not, your chances of you losing out on the home are more higher if you don't have that pre-approval letter on hand.
Right. And that's the thing too, is people think, oh, you know what, I can go look at a house with Lori, and then that afternoon or whatever, she can write up my offer while my loan officer gets me approved. It's like, well, maybe if you are that close and you just have a couple more steps, you don't know you have those steps until you've then talked to me. Because that maybe hour and a half pre-approval process of me reviewing your docs, because at that point, I need to see documentation too for a certain income and everything. And if I don't have that, and it takes you time to get that, well, then now you maybe missed out on that offer, because that pre-approval that you thought was just going to take like a couple hours, not even, maybe took another day or two. Yeah. And that's where you're going to fall short as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. I think we got some really good information out to people. I don't want to make this video too long so that people will continue to watch our videos that we have going. If anybody has any questions or want more videos like this, please message me. And thank you so much, Robert. I really appreciate you coming down and through Zoom and having this talk with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
All right. Thanks again. Have a good day.
You too.